The scab. One of the most universally shared attitudes is that the scab is a wretched character. He is unscrupulous and sneakily in league with the boss. Together, scab and boss plot to deprive union workers of their rights and of the jobs that are legitimately theirs. Scabs are hired to force union workers to accept lower wages. When it becomes known that scabs are also used to beat up union workers and pickets, the case is virtually complete. The scab is the greatest enemy of the worker.
Well, it's time to start the show. Lost my heart and lost my soul. Now it's time that you won't know. Lost my mind and lost my goal. Not giving it.
Thousands of workers brought the CBD to a standstill today.
Thousands of union protesters took to Perth streets today.
3,000 protesters brought city streets to a standstill today.
Not giving it. Ooh, I'm not giving it.
If you want to work in our country, you're going to pick up our labour.
The deaths on the war front have to stop today!
12 months of struggle, the coppers have backed off.
This time I'm gonna be stronger, I'm not giving it.
If we get a fair ballot, we'll win.
Be stronger, no, not giving it. Pistol shots ring out.
10 years of struggle, 10 years gone by, 470% growth. You know, it doesn't come without a major struggle. Let's take it back to 2003. You know, we got in, we had a mandate from our membership and we were going to go and deliver. 2003, we had a major blue with Woodside Petroleum on the TSEP project. Foreign labour doing our work. We won that dispute. 2004, we got to Albany. Skilled labour hire mob in the joint, we kicked them out. Massive dispute, which we won overwhelmingly. 2005 to 2007, the Liberal government came in. You know, what did they bring in? Work choices. Anti-worker, anti-union, anti-MUA, anti-WA branch. And I got to say, we got over work choices and we actually grew the branch overwhelmingly 20 to 30% in them 2 years, while other unions were declining. 2007, being re-elected unopposed, the whole team re-elected unopposed. 2008, the offshore oil and gas EBA, the EBA that really meant something to our membership. What a blow this was. 3 months of actually protected strike action to get an EBA up, to deliver for our members, construction rate of pay never seen in this country before, ever. To deliver a campaign that made the offshore oil and gas 100% membership. 100% membership. 2010, the stevedore and EBA. Massive increases. You know, 27%, 30%. The offshore oil and gas EBA, 30%. The dredging EBA, 46%. Moving on down the track, Chevron, you know, being sued by them. BHP being sued by them. Multinational outfits coming into this country want to take our work. And what have we done? We've stood up. Picket lines, occupations, getting down there in proper rank and file struggle, being seen in the press, getting out there on the job, getting to the picket lines and fighting and being determined to win is what's made this branch strong. All through these years, all through this struggle, this branch has continued to grow enormously. 470% growth over 10 years. No other union in the world, never mind this country, has seen that growth. If you really want to know what a good union is and what a good union's all about, then ask its membership. We got 800 to our AGM last week. 800 got off the job and come to listen to what we're doing in our branch. That's what's made this branch what it is today, and there's more to come.
Equality.
Strength and solidarity.
Family.
Camaraderie between Indigenous and non-Indigenous.
Comradeship. Solidarity.
Belief for the cause.
Strength in numbers and sticking together.
The union's a family.
Going home safely to your family.
Strong and militant.
Unified.
Solidarity.
It's about caring about people's welfare at work.
It's all about jobs for me grandkids.
Equity.
Solidarity, man.
Working together.
It's my family.
Solidarity. Mateship.
Solidarity, strength, and looking out for your safety.
Indigenous equality.
Security.
Mateship.
Family first, think safety always.
Industrial struggle is about aiming up on the job. It's about supporting your comrades in the industry. It's about making sure that you get the best possible pay, the best possible safety that you can fight for.
12 months of struggle, the coppers have backed off, FPA have done what they've agreed to fucking do and start talking to your representatives.
It's about making sure that you've got a workforce that will fight for a safe job. It's about making sure that you've got a workforce that will ensure that they're treated with dignity and respect on the job.
We sent out a text to our membership to say we're about to see the police again be engaged in an industrial dispute and we need support immediately. Now that text went out an hour ago. Have a look at the fucking crowd we got here. Yeah.
Industrial struggle is very important because the employers have got plenty of money, they've got plenty of lawyers, so the only way that we can fight to get the best pay and the best conditions is to be organised on the job.
It's important when you finish an EA campaign that you've created something that's sustainable going forward, both in terms of making sure you've educated the younger and the new entrants to the workforce, that women and minority groups have got an input into what goes on in that workplace, and at the end of the day it's important that we make sure what we've put in place through the campaigns we've run is sustainable going into the future.
Look, industrial struggle is so important to the culture of this branch. It brings the best out of a trade unionist. You know, he's part of that struggle, he's down on the picket lines, he's down in the rallies, he's at the marches, and to have industrial muscle, you have to have your members come along with you because they're the backbone, the rank and file. We had the campaign to join the ALP. What have we done? We've now become the biggest branch in the ALP. We're now at 1/5 of the entire financial members of the ALP in this state, and are growing. You know, the youth are getting involved, the women are getting involved, the Indigenous people are getting involved. We're going places, and it's special to be part of that.
This is a systematic lack of training, lack of investment through the corporations, through the governments that have done nothing. Well, we're here to say you need to deliver not just the corporations, but also the finance government. They've got responsibility.
Political landscape controlled by the top end of town, and our role is to make sure that we've got a voice for the workers. Politicians make the laws that govern our lives and our workplaces, and if we've got a say in what goes on there, then we can make sure that we're protecting your right to strike, your right to go home safely, and generally look after your workplace conditions.
It's about getting state government right, it's about making sure that we've got port ownership and we've got the structures around who's employing who and how they're paid, so we don't have these fly-by-nighters come through our industry.
I guess the key outcome of a successful campaign is to make sure that there's rank and file involvement at the end of it, all the way through. If we've involved the rank and file, you end up with your delegate structures, you end up with power in the workplace. That's what we're all about.
At the end of the day, the occupational health and safety laws are made by government, and by getting into the political struggle, we can make sure we've got the setup with the health and safety reps, we can make sure we've got the setup with the industrial reps, we can make sure we've got the industrial laws. That means we can struggle and we can win, and the bosses won't be using government to break us.
Comrades, I'll read out the names of our fallen comrades. Dean Robinson from Port Adelaide. Trevor Moore on the Karratha Spirit. Steve Piper, Appleton Dock. Bob Tumbelich, Western Port. Peter Ross, Appleton Dock. Nick Vanos, Sydney, Port Botany. Jeff Gray, Appleton Dock. Brad Gray, Brisbane. And tragically, Greg Fitzgibbon was added to that list no less than a month ago in Newcastle. So comrades, can we start with a minute's silence?
One of the most important things going forward for us in struggle is making sure our members come home safe from work. And that has been a struggle, and sadly it's been with some people in the ALP, some ministers that don't seem to care about regulating an industry that is full of high-risk workers.
It's so important because every 19 days someone in Western Australia dies on the job, and every 30 minutes someone is injured, and that is why it is so important that we always aim up on health and safety in the maritime industry.
The deaths on the waterfront have to stop today! And we make no apologies. We're doing more to make sure there's not one more death in our industry. Not one more!
You know, can you believe in 2013 we're struggling to have an industry that has got legislation in place to protect workers going home safely from their jobs. We're working in high-risk cranes, 8,000 tonne cranes, 12,000 tonne cranes, and yet, you know, these offshore oil and gas companies don't really give a damn about the worker.
Unionised sites are 3 times safer than non-unionised sites, and the MUA is no exception to that. We know that a unionised site has health and safety reps, and they're trained and they're well versed and well supported. We also know that they're going to have health and safety committees which are functional and doing their job.
In the role of a safety delegate, you can empower people that previously might feel that they can't approach management over something, and that's the whole point, is that we all go as one and we have a representative for each of us. We are as a whole, and we can empower each other and get the right things done.
Yeah, I find safety is paramount on the waterfront. It's a very dangerous industry, a very dangerous workplace, so you know, don't ever be scared to question. There's no dumb questions when it comes to safety.
You've got to go into it wholeheartedly. Safety is the biggest issue, and you're dealing with companies that don't want to deal too much with safety issues. They want to push it off to the side. So you've got to go in wholeheartedly and push the issues.
If the bosses get you to do something that you don't want to do, you have an absolute right not to do that. Your job is not worth your life. Aim up on the job, because we're aiming up in here.
You watch this branch going into the future, because we're going to fight, whether we have to come off the job every day, to get in place legislation, regulation, and making sure our members come home from work safely.
Look, I firmly believe it's incumbent on every single union member in every workplace to get involved in their union and get involved in the sort of campaigns that we're putting together. We're out there fighting on big issues about jobs for Australians, about training for our youth, and a number of the large campaigns we're seeing in respect of what it is ordinary Australians should be seeing coming out of this resources boom. And it's important that people, put their shoulder to the wheel in respect to those sorts of big campaigns that this branch is running and get involved.
Yeah, my view is to all the young men and women out of there, get involved in your union. Come along to the stop work meetings, know your EBA, and then go and do the delegate courses and get yourself educated, because education is a big thing in this union. And for the youth out there, get involved to keep the wages and conditions that you're enjoying today.
It's really important for the youth to become active, be involved, and learn and have an appreciation of the history as to where their wages and conditions come from when they walk upon a job. The older members really need to embrace them. They need to put their arm around them and say, look, this is the way the MUA do it. The reason we've got these wages and conditions is because we've fought hard over years and years to achieve them, and they need to embrace the youth.
Being involved with the MUA isn't about just having a union book and a pay packet. It's about turning up the stop work meetings, it's about turning up to your mass meetings, it's about doing your delegates and activist training, it's about talking to your comrades on the job about why we've got to aim up and get the best possible outcomes. So if you want to get involved, it's just a matter of sticking your hand up, aiming up and turning up.
As a woman in the MUA, I've found it challenging, but at the same time absolutely fantastic. I would encourage any woman, young or old, to get involved with this industry. It needs more women, it needs that balance. It's a fantastic career choice to make, and I would thoroughly encourage it.
The MUA took a conscious decision about 3 years ago to really work hard with the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community, and we've been able to establish in EBAs an Aboriginal employment clause which has delivered on the best site we have probably in the country, 20% Indigenous employment. Out of 420 members on that site, 83 are Aboriginal men and women. It's a fantastic outcome that we've been able to deliver through industrial struggle. All of those Aboriginal men and women are proud members of our union and have joined the MUA family.
When the older officials get up and talk about it's our kids' jobs, that's us. And when they say it's our grandkids' jobs, they're our kids. So, we really need to be at the forefront of these rallies, and we need to be turning up to stop work meetings so we can get the insight as to what's happening in our industry.
This is a family. It's been my life for a number of years, 35 years. And I've got to say, it'll be yours, and you wouldn't want it any other way.
Waste my time, which makes things worse. Lost in my love is cursed. Time to make these things feel right. Let's start this show for this time. Oh, I'm not giving it. No, not giving it.